All right, Zach, good to see you, man. How you been?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic now that the minor league season is getting started officially. I'm excited about baseball because they had their whole year off, as you know, last year. They didn't get a chance to play, so it's exciting for minor league baseball.
I know a majority of the guys didn't play at all, and it's really weird this year seeing guys make their major league debut, and the commentators on TV are saying, "Yeah, this guy didn't even throw at all last year. He was in a double A guy who didn't pitch one inning, and here he is making his major league debut. Last time he threw in a real game was 2019. It's just weird."
Yeah, it's going to be a weird year. 2021 will be a weird year for the minors. So I'm excited for minor league baseball at all levels too, because I know there was talk early on that the AAA might start early, but it looks like everyone is going to start. And then of course the realignment, right? Or what are you calling it? The scale down or the fewer teams, right?
Yeah, the shuffle is definitely interesting. Everybody's trying to get a good grasp around what leagues are out there, what are they called. All the names are different. The independent leagues are gone and they're renamed. So it's going to take some getting used to, but I think it's a good long-term plan that Major League Baseball has put together for themselves.
Yeah, it's something they've been talking about for a while. But hey, so kind of fitting for the podcast here, I'm excited to do this with all three of you guys. Let's run down. You're the oldest son number one.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your baseball playing career. Yeah, knowing you from day one, the moment you were born, I can't remember a day that you weren't passionate about baseball or that that wasn't a big part of your life growing up.
Yeah, I mean, it was just something that I gravitated toward very young, and I just always was always doing baseball in some way at all times. And I felt like it was something that I was pretty naturally good at right away. So that's probably why I took such a liking toward it. But I do remember I was probably 10, 11 years old, and you took us to a couple travel tournaments, and I was seeing kids play that are my age outside of Little League, which was pretty shocking of how well those kids were compared to our small local Little League that we had. And then I remember you asking me if I wanted to try out for a showcase team out in Lansing. And you're like, "If we're going to do this, we got to do it." And I said, "Yeah, let's go for it." And ended up making that premier travel team. And that year, my game just took off because I was playing against the best kids from around the state of Michigan, and we would go out of state to play. So from there on, my love for the game got so much better because I was playing against better talent. I could see that I was one of the better. I could compete at that level. So that gave me a lot of determination to keep sticking with it throughout my career, essentially.
Well, I definitely want to talk more about those BAM years because those were definitely formative years for you. I should make sure we remind people that or let people know that you're based in Charlotte, North Carolina right now, and that's why we started talking about minor league baseball because you have a AAA affiliate there. So you're going to see some players that are ready to go to play for the White Sox or just knocking on the door there.
Yes, we do. I'm excited. I work part-time for the Charlotte Knights right now, doing stuff in the press box. There's a couple roles that they have me take on. I do the game cast for them, so entering everything that you see on the MILB app, so single to right field, guys moving around, player substitutions. And then I also run the TrackMan, which is capturing data of all of the miles per hour, exit velocity, rotations on the pitches, capturing all that into the program for the White Sox. And then this year they're going to have me do a little bit of the pitch clock, which I haven't done that before, but it'll be fun to do. I've been working part-time in minor league baseball for a few years now. I worked there full-time out of college for a couple different teams, the Whitecaps and the Myrtle Beach Pelicans. So just kind of making my way through minor leagues from full-time to now part-time.
Yeah, I love that you wanted to be part of this podcast and do this together as a family because you do have that perspective of being, a big minor league baseball fan in following these young players and seeing them in the major leagues, which is kind of the thrill. And that's the whole theme of this podcast, is like what it takes to get to that next level, right? And you've seen the development of these players from the single A, low A, when the Whitecaps were low A, all the way up to triple A, and what they have to battle through and to get there. Because I would imagine you see the stark differences between a single A team and a double A, where you have those true prospects, right? And then triple A, where the guys are either bumping down, bumping up, trying to finish out their careers. It's just kind of, triple A is kind of weird.
Yeah, I think that's what makes minor league baseball so cool, is that every level is so different. There's different types of players at each level, guys at different points in their careers. Triple A, where I'm at right now, is very different, because you have a lot of guys that are just bouncing, going up and down every week, every month, who have a decent amount of service time. And then you have guys that were, all-stars in the Major League Baseball, and now they're coming down to make a rehab start, or they just got injured and they're in AAA for a couple months until they're ready to go. And then you have some prospects that are just on their way up that haven't played anything outside of AA. So it's really interesting, a really good mix in AAA.
Yeah, and you're seeing players too skipping levels now, which I think is really interesting, but we can talk about that some other day. Let's get back to your baseball journey real quick. So you go through, playing travel ball at the age of, 11 and 12, and you kind of get inspired. Is that when you said to yourself, you know what, Dad, I know you did. You said, Dad, I want to play in the major leagues, right? Your hero is Ken Griffey Jr. You're a big Mariners fan to this day, and I give you credit for sticking with the Mariners all these years. But you wanted to get there, right? I mean, that was part of your dream.
Right. It was a dream of mine. I worked incredibly hard at it. I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship out of high school to play the junior college level. And I would say I had a really good freshman year in college, and it was really nice for me to see the numbers kind of translate finally, because in high school, we didn't have the best team in high school. I didn't have the best defense from behind me. And because I was a soft tossing lefty pitch to contact kind of guy, I didn't have that ability to just go up and get strikeouts whenever I want. So to have a quality college defense behind me as a freshman really let me shine. And then after that freshman year, I would say going into my sophomore year was where I was probably the most determined out of my whole career to really go for it and see if I'd have a shot to get drafted or to get signed to professionally.
Right.
I had another really good sophomore year and was able to sign to play at an NAIA school at Davenport. And my junior year at Davenport, I really took that big step up to that next level, because we were in an NAIA school at that time, but we were such a good program. We were basically kind of competing at a Division II level. And once I saw myself, like in JUCO, I was one of the better players, but at that NAIA Division II level, I kind of saw myself even out a little bit. So from there, it's, you start coming down to reality a little bit. You see other guys that are throwing upper 80s, lower 90s. The average major league fastball is 92 miles an hour. If you're not floating around high 90s as a lefty, then it's not going to happen for you.
Right.
And since I was a low 80s guy with a lot of touch and feel and good off speed stuff, I was able to get a lot of outs, but I wasn't a prospect or anything like that.
Right. Do you think of the prospects? I mean, the pitchers that are throwing today, I mean, we're seeing a lefty's throwing mid to upper 90s now. I mean, where lefties, the time you played and even before that, if you hit 90, it was a pretty big deal, right? But even the righties, I mean, now being able to throw 98, 99 miles an hour is almost common. I mean, it's like it's an everyday occurrence.
Well, it's definitely a different game today. People are teaching pitching in a different way now, especially in the last 5 years. It's increase the rotations on your fastball, elevate the pitches up in the zone, elevate the high fastball, because everybody used to teach to swing down. So if they're swinging down, they can't hit the high fastball. And it's really crazy because they're just trying to teach velocity as much as possible, which I kind of understand, because the harder you throw, the less time the batter has to make a decision, which gives you the advantage. But I mean, if you look at Pedro Martinez, for example, say Pedro Martinez came up and was a prospect rookie in 2020, 2021, they would just be teaching him to go out there and throw 99, 100 every single time. And he would, because he could.
Right.
But since he came up in the 90s, they said, okay, taper it back a little bit. Look at this movement that you have on your pitches, and kind of let's work off the off speed and just carve guys up, which he did, which worked for him.
Right.
But I feel like if he was a big prospect now, he would just be a bullpen guy, setup guy, closer, just going in there, throwing 100 miles an hour and build his career that way. And who knows if he would be a Hall of Famer if he came up doing that nowadays. So
Yeah.
it's just really interesting how baseball is always evolving, and it goes through these little swings, right? And now this is what everyone wants to do. Now this is what everyone wants to do. It's all about timing and different phases, and it's really cool to follow if you're a baseball nerd on what's the new trend right now, because it's always changing.
Right. Well, I know. See, I mean, even you're still passionate about the game, but you're now learning the nuances, and you're looking at things a little differently, right? So when you're in high school, you look at it one way. You're in college, you look at it another way. When you're a player, you look at it one way. And then now as an adult with a family, you're looking at it as a fan, but you're a fan with a deep knowledge and a deep passion for the game. Where do you see yourself always being around baseball? I mean, the rest of your life?
I mean, that's who I am. I'll always be around it in some capacity, in some sort of way. I really like where I'm at right now, where I'm part-time in a minor league team. Like, that's really all I need. I don't need to be, working 12 hours a day, every single day at the park, like I was when I was full-time
right
in minor league baseball. And I could see myself getting back into coaching again down the road.
Yeah.
Potentially. I have a good family friend here who's a head varsity coach here in Charlotte. He's always asking me to come help out, stuff like that. So I know it'll always be in my life. And my wife knows that too. So we'll be fine. Yeah,
she knows your addiction to your Mariners. How are the Mariners doing this season, by the way? I've been watching a little bit. They seem to be doing okay, better than expected.
Yeah, they're an interesting team. They're another very young team. Last year, they were the youngest team in Major League Baseball. They're another young team again this year. Their star player, Rookie of the Year, Kyle Lewis, he started the year off on the IL, so he just came back last weekend. I think him not starting the year on opening day kind of messed with them a little bit, because he started off very slow. Yeah. I think they'll be okay. They're still a year away from making a good playoff run, but it's encouraging to see the young talent that they have on defense. They had 2 Gold Glovers on the infield last year, which is pretty special, and they really just need some pitching. But I think that'll come. They have a lot of prospects. They have probably 4 big prospects that are going to come up either this year or next year, and 2 of them are pitchers. So I think once those guys come up and get a little bit of experience, and then when they see that next year, I'm thinking that they're going to be a playoff team, Jerry DiPoto, the GM, will probably make a move for a pitcher or 2, and it'll come together. I'm excited. They have one of the best farm systems in all of Major League Baseball. I think they're like top 3 among all the different rankings. But in the AL West specifically, they are way ahead of the other 4 teams. Mm-hmm. So the Angels, A's, Astros, and Rangers, all their top prospects, all their minor league systems are bottom half of Major League Baseball.
Right.
So that gap that they have within their division is very large as far as minor league talent. So that's very encouraging for the coming years.
Well, I love your knowledge for your game and for the game and your passion for the game. What do you want to say to anyone listening? Because I'm hoping that we have listeners of all ages, young, old, coaches, former players out there. But what would you say, to the young player? To the 12-year-old you that was playing for that travel baseball team and dreaming a big league dream. And what would you say to those young players out there?
I would say enjoy every day. Enjoy having enjoy every day, because every day that you get to put on that uniform and play is a very special thing.
Yeah.
And at some point, you're not going to be able to put on that jersey and play with your buddies. You may be able to put that on that jersey later on as a coach, but it's different when you're actually on the field playing, because then you feel like you're with your friends and you're having a good time going after the win. And if playing Major League Baseball is your goal and your dream, that's wonderful. That's a great goal to have.
Yeah.
It's a very slim goal, but that doesn't mean it's not attainable or achievable.
Right.
If you put the work in, you can find a college anywhere in this country that'll take you, basically. And once you get in a good college program, you let your body develop and have your head on straight, put good things in your body, and have a good faith, then you never know what's going to happen.
Never know.
Give yourself a shot.
That's why they call it big league dreaming, right?
That's right. Ever since I was a kid.
Ever since I was a kid. Hey, great catching up with you, and looking forward to this season 1 of the podcast and learning more about your Mariners and see what's happening in Charlotte.
Hey, don't get me going on the Mariners. I'll talk all day long. So you got to keep those questions to a minimum, Pop.
You got it. All right. Take care, Zach.
All right. See ya.